at today's pep assembly. The golf team, the soccer team, the cross-country team, cheerleaders. Now the Oil City High School alma mater. Welcome to Homecoming 92. The class of 93 has been working hard to make this year's tradition a special one for all. We have had dress-up days each day this week, where the students and faculty got into the spirit of things, with college and professional sweatshirt day, class color day, country pride day, and of course the great blue and white day. The senior members of the fall sports teams were honored at today's pep assembly. Golf team, soccer team, cross-country, cheerleaders, band and band front, volleyball team, and the football team. Student body elected the following seniors as our traditional Oilers of the day. From the soccer team, Charlie Carbaugh. From the golf team, Josh Etzel. From the cheerleaders, Jennifer Hutchison. From the cross-country team, Bob Larkin. From the band front, Lori Frankenberger. From the band, Bud Montgomery. From the volleyball team, Stephanie Strickland. And from the Oiler team, Big Ben Knight. At this time, we'd like to thank the efforts of the senior class officers and senior executive council who have worked the first month of school to get ready for tonight. They have coordinated the parade through the downtown area, sold and distributed 1,000 carnations to the student body, and arranged for the dance tomorrow night and today's halftime festivities. They have done a great job, and they are President John Warner, Vice President Amy Ressler, Secretary Kelly Kugla, and co-treasurers Heather Lita and Karen Struess. The class advisors, Mr. Dick Petula and Mrs. Karen Amendola, would especially like to thank them for all their time and effort this hectic week. We call your attention to the 4 banners on the field tonight, carried by the band front members. These banners mark a tradition begun in 1989, and this year's banner is the newest one on the field. A special thanks goes to Miss Rachel Heater for her design and construction of this memorable banner. And now it gives me great pleasure to announce this year's homecoming court. Kathy Bennett, daughter of Tom and Pat Bennett of 1223 Grandview Road. Kathy has been a varsity cheerleader for 3 years, a member of the varsity club, a member of the Senior Executive Council, and president of FBLA. Kathy plans to attend college and major in accounting. Kathy also would like to say a special thank you to her best friend, her mom. Kathy is escorted tonight by Joel Ballett, son of Jeff and Sally Albright of 119 Moran Street. Let's hear it for Miss Kathy Bennett and escort. The next member of the court is Sandy Downing. Sandy is the daughter of John and Sue Downing of 1209 West 1st Street. Sandy's activities include co-captain of the volleyball team, secretary of National Honor Society, member of the basketball team, student council, and senior executive council. Sandy plans to attend college and major in biology. Sandy's escorted tonight by John Warner, son of Jack and Karen Warner of 602 Central Avenue. Congratulations, Sandy. Next we have Leslie Harry. Leslie is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Harry of 15 West 3rd Street. Leslie is active in National Honor Society, Student Council, Varsity Club, the volleyball team, and the girls basketball team. Leslie's future plans include a major in biology. Kirk Master is Leslie's escort tonight. Kirk is the son of Roberta Master of 727 Grandview Road. Congratulations, Leslie. Our next young lady is Jennifer Hutchinson, daughter of Mr. Greg Hutchison and Mrs. Robin McGinney of RD1 Oil City. Jennifer is a member of the cheerleaders, varsity club, art club, AFS mixed ensemble, and historian of a cappella. Jennifer plans to attend Clarion University and major in either elementary education or early childhood education. Jennifer's escort is Joe McFadden, son of Mr. and Mrs. Joe McFadden, 47 Buchanan Street, Rouseville. Let's hear it for Jennifer. Our next member of the court is Miss Amy Ressler, daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Ed Ressler of 629 Boquin Circle. Amy is the senior class vice president, a varsity cheerleading captain, member of the National Honor Society, student council, and the track team. Amy plans to attend college and major in pre-med, perhaps later specializing in forensic pathology. Amy is escorted tonight by Josh Etzel, son of Jim and Judy Etzel of 205 Lincoln Street. Congratulations, Amy. The final member of the homecoming court for 92-93 is Miss Stephanie Strickland, daughter of Harriet and Lee Strickland of 1101 Grandview Road. Stephanie is co-captain of the volleyball team, National Honor Society, a member of the Student Council, and the Student School Board representative. Steph plans to attend college and major in pre-law. Her escort is Charlie Carbaugh, son of Judy and Curtis Carbaugh of Dempseytown. We would also like to introduce at this time 3 special young ladies that are here as exchange students in Oil City. Our first exchange student is Marie Salot from France. Her American host family is Mr. and Mrs. William Emery of 110 Sealy Avenue, Oil City. Our second exchange student is Suvi Karppinen from Finland. Her American host family is Mr. and Mrs. Steve Renninger of 7 Innis Street in Oil City. And our third exchange student is Jenny Holzports from Germany. Her American host family is Christine and Marnie Sullivan, 7 Greenwood Drive in Oil City. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for this year's court. The crowning of the Queen will take place at halftime. Good luck, girls.
And we thank you very much. Welcome to Oiler Football 92. We've got a great night for it up here this evening. For the most part, a clear sky, full moon, Folwell football Friday night. They all go hand in hand. Pat Folwell is joining me in the press box this evening. Pat, any idea of who might come out on top this evening? We got two evenly matched teams, not so much record-wise, but offensively and defensively, they do a lot of the same things.
Well, baseball-wise, Scott, I think the Pirates are going to win tonight. But if you're talking about football,
you're talking to a Mets fan here.
Of course, I'm kind of biased towards Oil City, and I think with the homecoming activities, homecoming weekend, Oil City coming in to the ball game tonight with a 2-game winning streak, a couple of really good games they played in the last their last 2 outings. I really look for Oil City to give them a real good game, and the Oilers are getting ready to come on the field as Titusville is already here. They had the toss at the point a little bit ago, Scott. Oil City won the toss. That's a good start, and they'll be receiving the ball to start the football game.
Well, very impressive win last week, as you mentioned, Pat, but it cost the Oilers. In fact, the past 2 weeks have cost the Oilers injury-wise. Jason Schneeberger is out for 2 weeks because of bruised and cracked ribs. Ben Knight is out for the season with a broken ankle. Jeremy Tobin is out indefinitely because of knee problems. But the Oilers, that hasn't seemed to really bother them. They've plugged in some underclassmen, some juniors and sophomores in there, and they seem to just picked up right where they left off. We did want to mention that last week Mike Stevens had 237 yards rushing. That was not the record. We thought it might have been actually the record held by Chris Conway, 298 yards in 1985 versus Hickory. But Stevens comes into this contest with 708 yards on 104 carries for a 6.8 average. And so far, he has 1,826 for his career. So doing pretty well, Pat.
Mike having a Super Bowl game, and he's halfway through the season, better than 700 yards, and providing the scouts haven't really looked at him too closely here the remaining games, Mike maybe could even surpass his total yardage of last year and maybe even set a school record, we would hope.
On offense this evening for the Oilers, at center will be Dave Kraft, number 56, a 6-foot, 190-pound junior. At the guards, it will be John Williams, and we'll probably see Matt Keebler in there for Jason Schneeberger at the right guard. The tackles will be Damian Barr and Mark Lukasiak. The tight end will be Sean Benson. At split end, we'll see everybody from Mike Eckert to Mark Spence, or Bill Fatula, Jason Hanlon, or Kenny Tarr. Of course, Steve Hanlon is your quarterback, the senior who's had a good season so far. T.J. Carbo will probably start at halfback. Mike Stevens will be the other half. And at fullback, we could see Jeremy Amendola or Chad Brinkley. Amendola also, from time to time, will be split out at flanker. We'll be running down the Titusville offensive defense as the game gets underway. Right now, looks like we're just about ready for a kickoff, so we'll keep it right here. Kicking off for the Titusville Rockets will be Nate McIntosh, number 38. Deep for the Oilers will be Mike Stevens and T.J. Carbo. The kick is off. It's at T.J. They fake the reverse or go to reverse. Anyway, the ball is dropped, and it's picked up by T.J. Carbaugh, who falls on it. Pat, it looked like they went to go for the reverse there, and a miscue on the handoff. Either they were going to fake it or they were going to hand it off. Either way, the ball just kind of dropped on the ground, and luckily for the Oilers, a blue shirt fell on it.
A little razzle-dazzle on the very first play of the game, or in fact, the very first kickoff, and puts Oil City in a hole, 1st and 10 on their own 9-yard line. So that particular play wasn't too successful. 96 KQW-FM Oiler football here on a Friday night, also on Venango video. We'll tell you about that later on. And the Oilers come out on offense. Steve Hanlon, the quarterback. Oilers come out in the wishbone, and he'll hand off to the first man through. That is, of course, Mike Stevens adding his yardage total. And let's see where they spot the ball. Looks like they're going to give him about 2.5, maybe 3 yards on that carry. Bring up a second. Well, I guess they give him 2 yards, so we'll call it 2nd and 8. On defense for the Titusville Rockets, they run a 4-4 Penn State defense. We'll see Brian Murray and Brian Baldwin at the end. Jason Roberts, no relation to yours truly, and Jeff Vanderhoff at the tackles. Oil City on offense once again. Wishbone backfield for the Oilers. Hand looks over center, calls the signals. And it's a quick pass out into the flats to the tight end, and that is Sean Benson. A quick grab there that picks up a couple of yards. So now 3rd and 5, Pat. A completed pass, but not very much yardage-wise for the Oil City Oilers this evening. Looking over the Titusville defense at linebacker, there's Sean List and Dan Letterber are your outside linebackers. Brad Arnink and Ryan Wolfkill are inside. At the safeties, it's Nate McIntosh, Mark Kirkwood, and Kirk Zimprooch.
Oil City once again on offense. Sean Benson is split out. And the Oilers hand off to, I do believe that was Stevens once again. Carbaugh, excuse me. And in fact, he'll lose a couple of yards on the play, Pat. Bring up a 4th and about 6, and it looks like the Oilers will have to punt here. Of course, your punter is T.J. Carbaugh. He's been doing fairly well for the Oilers, I think averaging somewhere around 30 to 35 yards a kick. Not bad for high school ball. But he's going to be almost in his end zone, Pat, as he tries to punt this one off.
And deep for the Rockets, it looks like 38 McIntosh. He's back on the Oil City 40. Here's the kick.
Low snap, TJ gets it off, and he'll pull it in around the 40. McIntosh will go to the 45, looking to run outside. And finally, take that back out to the 35, and finally knocked out of bounds around the Oil City. Let's see where they spot it. Probably around the Oil City 32-yard line. So, Pat, great field position for the Titusville Rockets to start out the ball game.
Chad Brinkley in on the stop for Oil City, and the Rockets have the ball 1st and 10 on the Oil City 34-yard line.
On offense for the Rockets, we were all set to call this guy Jeremiah Morrison, but he doesn't like that. He calls himself Maya Morrison. He's number 12, 5'8", 155-pound senior for Titusville. And the Rockets come out on offense. Broken bone backfield, pitches back to the deep man. That's number 32. And that is Kurt Zimprich, I was told, Pat. Not Zimfruit, Zimprich. And he'll only, in fact, he'll lose a yard. I'll call it now 2nd and 11. Tackle for a loss by the Oil City Oilers.
It must be the move up towards Titusville way, because when the Zimfruits lived in Oil City, they were all Zimfruits.
Well, we got that from the Titusville radio station, so we'll take that. And Titusville comes out on offense once again. Broken bone backfield. Flanker on the left side, and they hand off to number 38, and that is Nate McIntosh, the leading ground gainer for Titusville. Coming into this game, he has 198 yards on 62 carries for a 3.2 average. Not really impressive. And on that game, he gets just about that average, down around 2 yards. So call it now 3rd and 8 for the Titusville Rockets. So great field position here, Pat, but they've yet to capitalize.
We mentioned he doesn't have a lot of yards, but he was going up against some real good teams earlier in the season too, Scott.
That's true. We've got a Twins on the left side, passing down for Titusville, but no, they run the option. Pitch back to number 32, and that's Zimfruit, and he loses the handle on it. Oilers fall on it, and getting up off that pile is number 25, Chad Brinkley, coming up to pick up the fumble by Zimfruit, or Zimfritz, whatever. He loses the ball, and Oilers get it right back.
Great break for Oil City there, as they're going to have the football on their own 40-yard line, maybe about the 39-yard line.
39 and 1st and 10 for the Oilers, first break of the ball game. Something they kind of needed after that miscue on the opening kickoff when they tried to run a reverse. Oil City comes out on offense now, handling again the quarterback. Calling the signal. Hands off to the first man through, and he is hit hard by number 69 for the Rockets. Picks up about 3 yards on the carry. Call it 2nd and 7 for the Oil City Oilers.
Chad Brinkley, the ball carrier, picks up 2, Scott.
So mixing up the plays, handing off to the fullback that time. And Oil City on offense. Once again, the wishbone backward. We'll see a lot of that tonight. Splits out wide to the right side. Quarterback takes the snap and hands off to the first man through. That's Stevens. Stevens hit hard at the line of scrimmage. They'll give him credit for about a half a yard and not much more than that. Not the big holes he had last week. 22, Amendola carried the ball. My fault there. You see that 2 from this angle.
And we're so used to seeing that 2 carrying the ball, Scotty.
Right, 42. Into the ball game now, the wide receiver Mark Spence carrying the play from Dan Brown. And the Oilers come out on offense, 3rd and about 7. Normally a passing down, but you never know what the Oilers are going to do. They've got splits out on both sides. Wishbone backfield for the Oilers. And they'll hand off to T.J. Carbaugh, looking to get some outside running room, but nothing doing there. In fact, he'll lose about 2 or 3 yards. So Oilers will bring up 4th and 10 now, or 4th and 9. They'll spot it at about the 39-yard line. And they'll have to punt here, Pat.
Brings up the 4th down, as you mentioned. Again, Titusville, again, they had a couple of chances to scout us, and I think they pretty much maybe knew what was going to happen there, Scotty.
Deep for Titusville will be Nate McIntosh and Mark Cookwood. TJ again kicking the ball. Gets the kickoff, a high Long one falling down around the 35-yard line. Pulled in that time by McIntosh, and I think he lost it, Pat. Ball fell to the ground. He fell right on top of it, so Titusville will take over now at their own 36-yard line.
There's no score in the ball game. 6:22 remaining to play here in the first quarter. Homecoming, Oil City and Titusville from OCHS Stadium.
And we will crown a queen at halftime. Before the game, they introduced the queens and I shouldn't say the queen candidates and their escorts, and they'll crown that queen at halftime. And we'll have that for you right here on 96 KQW FM. And Titusville comes out on offense. Maya Morrison, the quarterback. Kirkwood and McIntosh, the halfbacks. Arnink is the fullback. Out of the I backfield. Morrison looks to pass, rolling out right, and he will tuck it under and keep it, but just barely getting back to the line of scrimmage. Tackled out there by a host of Oilers, including number 69 for the Oil City Oilers. And that is Jeremy Heath, a guy who had a great game last week subbing for Damian Barr. He's a 5'11", 210-pound sophomore, so really, I guess, the only sophomore that's seen a lot of action for the Oil City Oilers this evening. 2nd and 9, Titusville with the ball, no score, 5:40 on a running clock here in the first quarter. I backfield for the Rockets. Oil City in a 5-2 defense, looking to pass downfield, has the man open, but almost picked off out there by Jeremy Amendola. He saw that one coming, Pat, stepped in front of it, and couldn't get a grip on the ball. That'll fall incomplete. 3rd and about 10 now for the Titusville Rockets.
Wide open field there. Had he been able to intercept that ball, Scott, no one around him, but we'll take the down to be 3rd down and 9 for the Rockets.
You know, coming into this ball game, Pat, Morrison had only passed 48 times in 5 ball games, and he's already put it up how many times? 3 times already. So maybe they're planning on passing a little bit more this evening. They show pass here. They've got twins out to the left side, I backfield. Morrison drops back to pass, might keep it, rolling out to his left, out around the 30, 35, 40, brought down by a couple of Oilers. Number 56 in on the tackle. That's the linebacker, Dave Kraft, coming up to make the stop, but certainly not enough for a first down, and they'll call it now 4th and about 3. Looks like Titusville will be punting again.
Morrison covering a lot of ground again there, Scott, but allowing the Oiler defense to hone in on them, and as a result, unable to pick up that first down.
Stevens and Carbaugh back to field to punt. Punting will be Baldwin. That's Brian Baldwin punting for the Titusville Rockets. He'll get the snap, get the kickoff. A boomer out there all the way down to the 23-yard line, pulled in by Stevens, looking for some daylight out there. Reverses field, backs up. And actually, he gave up a few yards on that one. They finally bring him down out about the 21-yard line.
Corralled by 82 for the Rockets. That's Paul Kerr, and I'll tell you, he just put a move on him or just pounced on him. Make sure they must have seen Mike because they know he can outwit most of them. But he just pounced on him, and Mike had no chance to advance the ball.
Yeah, Stevens last week left a lot of people staring at their shoestrings, but not the case this week. They pretty much held him in check, but it's still early. 4:33 first quarter. There is no score. Oil City comes out on offense once again. Hanlon is the quarterback. Out of the I backfield, Stevens will dot that I. They send Sean Benson in motion. They pitch back to Stevens off his hands, but he pulls it right back in. Running off the left side, and they string him out, and Titusville is doing a heck of a job keeping Mike Stevens in check. Only 2-yard gain for the Oilers that time.
And again, we have to expect that, when we see Titusville today, Meadville, and the rest of the section, Scott, again, because they've had a chance to scout, and you see the write-ups in the paper, and you just know that he's the workhorse, and they're out to stop him, and so far they're doing a good job.
Well, the Oilers come out on offensive set we don't see too often. This time we've got T.J. Carbaugh split out as the flanker on the right side. Amendola is the fullback. And he'll pitch back to Stevens that time, and Stevens will once again get stopped by the Rockets. He'll pick up a couple out around the 25-yard line. So that'll bring up now 3rd and about 6 for the Oil City Oilers.
Brad Arnink in on the stop for the Rockets. 3rd down, they really didn't advance that marker too far. It looked like about 3rd and 7, Scott. No score here in the first quarter. A little more than 3 minutes remaining to play.
Passing down here for the Oil City Oilers, 3:04 on a running clock here in the first quarter. I backfield, Stevens dots the I. Titusville in the Penn State 4-4 defense. They send Benson in motion left. Hanlon rolling back to pass, looking downfield, has a man, and that is the man in motion, Benson. He pulls it in for a first down at around the 43, 44-yard line for the Oil City Oilers. Great catch out there by Sean Benson. He came into this ball game, let me see here, Pat, came into the ball game with 4 catches for 128 yards, averaging 32 yards a catch. Doesn't quite get 32, but a nice gainer for the Oil City Oilers.
And we have a first down for Oil City now on their 43-yard line.
Oilers on offense moving the football here in the first quarter. 2:34, no score in the ball game, but the Oilers are moving. Wishbone backfield. Hanlon takes the snap, pitches back to Stevens. Stevens running off his right side, and he will gain a couple out to about the 45-yard line. Tackled out there by number 25, Brad Arnink, inside linebacker for the Titusville Rockets.
The ball right spotted on the edge of the 45-yard line of the Oilers. 2:05 remaining to play here in the first quarter. If you're just joining us, no score. It's homecoming at Oil City.
Chad Brinkley brings in the play, and I don't know if the folks back home can hear it, Pat, or not, but the Oiler band is playing the Tomahawk Chalk theme. Apparently they're not Pirates fans. Oilers on offense. They send a man in motion right. Hanlon pitches back to Mike Stevens. Stevens, I don't know if he just lost his footing that time or not, Pat. I don't know if we've got a wet field out there. It rained this morning, but he just couldn't seem to get any grip on the ground, and he'll, I don't know, I guess they're going to have him lose a couple of yards on that one. The stick still shows it 3rd and 10, but I thought he may have lost 1 or 2.
I think there was a loss of 2 yards on the play. And also, Scotty, he did slip, but you have to give credit to that Titusville defense, too. They're honing in on Mike Stevens.
Oilers come out on offense. Flanker Charlie Carbaugh. He'll split out wide, then step up to the line as they send Benson in motion. Hanna will look down to pass. Looking downfield, has some time, has some pressure, finally gets rid of it, but he's picked off out there by number 38 for the Titusville Rockets, but there's a flag down, and he will return that interception down to about the 27-yard line, but as I mentioned, there is a flag down after the interception. That was Nate McIntosh, I think, that picked that one off, Pat.
So we'll just have to wait and see now what the call is, as the ball, as you mentioned, Scott, returned down to the Oil City 28-yard line.
Illegal receiver downfield, a late flag out there, so I would think Titusville's certainly going to decline that one, and they will take over great field position for the Rockets. Titusville does decline, and they've got the ball right here. We are inside a minute. Wanted to mention the new track up here at Oil City. They have got a surface on it that I don't know what it is out there, Pat, but it sure looks nice.
On the interception, Titusville getting the ball back on good Oil City territory on the 29-yard line, first down.
29 inside a minute. I don't know if they'll get a play off before the gun goes off, ending this first quarter. And they'll hand off to McIntosh, and he will get hit at the line of scrimmage out there by a host of Oil City Oilers, including that super sophomore out there, Jeremy Heath, hitting him hard at the line of scrimmage for no gain. 2nd and 10, and the clock continues to roll. I think that probably will be the end of the quarter, Pat, as we're inside 17 seconds, and Titusville looks like they are going to take their time. They break the huddle, and they're going to have to hurry to get this one off. And I don't know if they will. It's going to be close. They do get the play off. At least the gun doesn't go off. Hands off to the first man through. He is hit at the line of scrimmage. Out there by number 67, Damian Barr. So we'll call it a gain of about a half a yard. And that is the end of the first quarter here on Oilers football, where there is no score. And we'll be back with more Oilers football on 96 KQW FM. WKQW FM. We'll get to some first quarter stats in just a minute. Titusville on offense at the Oiler 28-yard line. 3rd and about 9. Maya Morrison is the quarterback. He'll pitch back to number 32, and he'll run off the left side. Gaining several yards, stopped out there by number 22, Jeremy Amendola. And Pat, I don't know what that is up in the sky there.
Well, we don't know if it's a shooting star or if that's another hoopla hype for homecoming here at Oil City. It's quite impressive.
I don't know, but I hope it doesn't land on my car. Maybe I'm going to be abducted by aliens after this thing's over. I don't know. Something just shot across the sky there. Certainly got the attention of everybody here in the press box. 4th and 5. Titusville is going to go for it on the option. Maya Morrison will keep it. No, he pitches back. Pitches back to number 32 in Titusville. And, Pat, I do not have... Oh, that's Zimprich. And Zimprich will get the first down for the Rockets down about the 15-yard line. 11-17 left to go here in the second quarter. There is no score, but Titusville moving. 1st and 10 at the 15. Zimprich the carry on that 1st and 10. And he also not having a bad season. 121 yards on 21 carries. In fact, with a 5.7 average, he's averaging better than Nate McIntosh, the Titusville leading ground gainer. And on the play, Titusville will send it up the middle. That's number 38, McIntosh. And he'll gain about 5 or 6 yards, depending on the spot. There looks like about 5. 2nd and 5 now for Titusville. Down just about at the 10-yard line. 10:41 running clock here in the second quarter. The center, Jason Roberts. I'll try to say that name as much as I can, Pat, even though he's not related to me. We'll come out and center the ball. Morrison takes his time. Hands off to the second man through that Zimprich. Zimprich running off his left side. Gets down to about the 5 or 6 yard line before he is stopped. Tackled out there, but I think Amendola came up to make the stop.
Brings up a 3rd and 1, Scotty, with a little more than 10 minutes to play here in the first half of play. No score, but Titusville is marching.
So the Rockets can get a first down before they hit pay dirt. Wanted to remind everybody you can watch this game or hear this game again on Venango Video tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, bright and early on Oil City Channel 13. On offense, they take it up the middle for the Rockets, and it is close. Down to about the 3-yard line, I believe. A whole bunch of blue and white shirts out there. Oil City in their all blue uniforms this evening. Blue helmets, blue jerseys, blue pants, and white numerals. Titusville comes into the game wearing their gold pants, gold helmets, and white shirts with the black numerals. Titusville moving left to right on your radio dial. Roberts comes out to center the ball. 1st and goal. 9:45 on the clock here in the second quarter. And they'll have now to Zimprich. Zimprich looking to go off his left side. And he's got to be close out there, Pat, but no signal from the officials for a touchdown just yet. They'll call it now 2nd and about a foot, I think, for pay dirt.
Yard to go for the Titusville score here, Scott.
Any quick stats on that first quarter that we can throw out real quickly?
Well, quickly, Oil City with net yardage of 25 yards in the first quarter, or Titusville 6, but they sure surpassed that early here in the second quarter.
And the Rockets on offense. He hands off to the second man through the hole. And Titusville players say touchdown, but no signal from the official. I don't see how anybody could tell in that pileup, but they're the whole inside line for the Oilers in on the stop. The Rockets pretty much a running team, and that's what they're doing right here, trying to get in. They spot the ball at about the half-an-inch line, Pat.
I think it's just breathing on the goal line there, Scott.
I'll look for maybe a quarterback sneak right here. Quarterback, not a real big one. Maya Morrison, only 5'8", 155, but he's got some beef in front of him. Jason Roberts, 5'11", 200 pounds. They go up the middle. Touchdown, Titusville.
Touchdown to the Rockets.
And they will get on the board with 8:31 remaining here in the second quarter. Who took that in, Pat? It happened so quickly. McIntosh took it in. 5'9", 160-pound senior. They've got some big guys on the front line, but nobody really huge in the backfield at all. So credit McIntosh with about the 1-inch touchdown. And it looks like Titusville will kick for the PAT. The kicker is also McIntosh, so he'll try to add another point to his scoring total for this evening. Snap is low. They get it on the tee, but a bad kick. I'm not sure if any Oiler got their hand on it or not, but no good. So Titusville comes up the field leading 6-0. We'll be back with more Oiler football on 96 KQW FM.
Play here in the first half, 6-0. The drive covered 8 plays, 27 yards. The touchdown by McIntosh, 8:31 to go in the second quarter.
And McIntosh will also kick it off. He does everything. Nice kick out there by McIntosh. Pulled in by T.J. Carbaugh. They fake the reverse this time. T.J. will keep it running right. Cuts it back into the middle. Breaks a couple of tackles. He's finally brought down there at about the 27-yard line. Tackled out there by number 27 for the Titusville Rockets, and that is Charles Vanderhoff.
I don't know that many of the Rockets were faked out by the play, Scott, as T.J., again, he had got some respectable yardage out of the run back, bringing it out to the 27-yard line.
1st and 10 for the Oil City Oilers, 8:15 left to go here in the first half of the ball game, and 6-0 to score, Titusville. And the Oilers come out on offense. Hanlon will check the lineup. I backfield. Stevens dots the I. Hanlon takes the snap. They hand off to Stevens on that deep counter that they ran a couple of weeks that was so successful against Bradford, but nothing doing that time. I don't know who the scouts are for Titusville, but they apparently know what to do to stop the Oilers. They'll credit Stevens with just about 3-yard gain on that one. 2nd and 7 for the Oilers, Pat.
When to stop them, and it's just, like I say, they've had a good chance after, this being our 6th game of the season, and several opportunities to scout us, and, Mike Stevens was the big gun in the previous games.
That looked exactly like the play they ran at Bradford so successfully that put Stevens over the 100-yard mark, but not that time.
2nd down for the Oilers.
On offense, Stevens dots the I once again. Hanlon calls the signals, hands off to Stevens, running off his right side, off tackle, breaks some tackles that time, and picks up the first down for the Oil City Oilers out to about the 40-yard line.
A good Mike Stevens run, about 11 yards there, Scott, and as you say, out to the 40-yard line of the Oilers, first down here in the second quarter.
Thing about Stevens, I guess, Pat, is you're going to stop him, Eventually, he's going to break that one and get to you, and he did that time. 1st and 10 Oilers moving the football at the Oilers' 40-yard line. 6-0 Titusville on top in the second quarter. High backfield, Stevens dots the I, and looks like movement out there on Oil City. I thought possibly that maybe John Williams or Damian Barr moved just a little bit early as yellow flags fly. Illegal motion called against Oil City. They'll take it back 5, so 1st and 15 now for Oil City.
Second penalty of the game for Oil City.
They didn't make a whole lot of mistakes last week. In fact, they didn't have to punt the ball at all last week. They played a real good football game and all ends of it last week for the most part. But making a little mistake there, that'll cost them 5. 1st and 15. 6:37 left to go here in the second quarter. Stevens dots the I. Hanlon calls the signals. Looking at the Titusville 4-4 defense. Hands off to Stevens, going up the middle. Looking to run outside. He'll break a couple of tackles. And he gets out to about the original line of scrimmage. Picks up a couple more for about a 7-yard gain for Stevens. And the official spots the ball at the Oilers' 43-yard line.
Great running by Mike Stevens that time, Scott. Wow, I'll tell you, a lot of power.
He earned all those 7 yards that time, Pat. They'll call that maybe an 8-yard gain. And now 2nd and about 6. For the Oil City Oilers.
2nd down for the Oilers.
2nd and 6 or 2nd and 7 in there. Dave Kraft centers the ball for the Oil City Oilers, and Stevens dots the I once again. T.J. Flanker out on the right side. Takes the snap from center, fakes to the fullback, hands off to Stevens, running right. Stevens will get about 4 or 5 yards on the carry. Not enough for the first down, but does go second, third, and about 2 now for the Oil City Oilers.
Out across the 45-yard
Third and 2, third and
line.
3. Coming out of the ball game, Jeremy Amendola.
47. Third down and 3 for the Oilers.
And going in will be Chad Brinkley. So Dan Brown apparently running the plays in and out with a fullback this evening. Third and 3 for Oil City. 5:10 left to go here in the first half. Titusville leads 6-0. And a little movement out there by Titusville that time. I don't know what happened. I think maybe Oil City drew them off sides. I thought I saw one of those white jerseys move first, Pat.
Well, it would be a break for Oil City if it is called on Titusville. That'll give us the first down.
And it is, and that will give us a first down across midfield. That'll give us 5 more. And that should bring up a 1st and 10 for Oil City at about the 48-yard line of Titusville. And they will certainly take that, and that's what we've got. Almost inside 5 minutes.
Offsides against the
In the first half of play, second quarter action. Oil City football on 96 WKQW FM, Oil City. 1st and 10, Oil City Oilers across midfield. Take the snap from center. Fakes to Stevens, looks to go downfield, has a man. And that's pulled in by number 44 for the Oil City Oilers, Mike Eckert, 6 foot, 184-pound junior, makes the catch for Oil City. But Pat, there's 2 yellow flags down around midfield.
Nice effort by Mike Eckert, and I think from the looks on Burma, it's going to be against the Oilers, and it is.
I was just going to say the same thing. I saw the hat come off, and that usually means he's not too happy. So no indication of what it is just yet. I didn't see motion out there, but we're waiting on a call from the official. I send the ball back in. Eckert came into the ball game with 4 catches for 33 yards for an 8.2 average, but they step it off against Oil City. And now nullifying that nice gain by Eckert. Now we've got 1st and 15 once again. 4:37 left to go here in the first half of the ball game.
We have timeout on the field, Scott.
And with that, we will take a timeout, Pat. We'll be back with more Oiler football on 96 KQW FM.
We'd like to remind everyone again, we have 50 tickets still on sale, and the game ball tickets. The game ball this evening was donated by the Oil City Area Education Association.
KQWFM, 1st and 15, 4:37 left to go here in the first half of play. Right now the Rockets lead in the ball game 6-0 on a real nice drive that they got underway earlier. And Pat, any indication as to what that last flag was?
Not really.
Okay.
What was it?
So 1st and 15 for the Oil City Oilers. They come out in the full wishbone backfield. I thought motion out there again, but no flags fly. Looking to pass downfield. Hanlon has a man. And that is Eckert once again. Looked like pretty much the same play that they completed just a few moments ago that there was flags on.
But there's no flag this time, Scotty. A good play.
And, you know, Pat, I thought I saw movement out there, but the officials didn't pick it up. But they'll call a first down pickup for Eckert out about the Oil City, or excuse me, Titusville 35-yard line. So a nice catch out there by Mike Eckert. Looked like the exact same play, Pat. First down for Oil City, 1st and 10 at the Titusville 35-yard line. The Oilers come out in the wishbone backfield. Amendola is the fullback, Harbaugh and Stevens your halfback. And definitely movement out time that time by Titusville. Number 85, Dan Letterberg, moved a little bit early from his defensive end position. And we'll get 5 free ones that time.
Again, with the Oil City on the march now, Scott, Titusville is going to have to get a little neater play there as they're getting too close to Titusville's goal line and move the ball down now on the penalty down to the 30-yard line of Titusville.
The Rockets a little bit antsy to get in the Oiler backfield, and they give up 5 free ones to Oil City. 1st and 5 now makes things a little bit easier, for Dan Brown's offense. Same offensive set for the Oilers in the wishbone. Hanlon calls the signals, hands off to Amendola, who goes right up the middle, and he'll get a couple. Bring up 2nd and 2 or 3 for Oil City. 4:21 on the running clock here in the second quarter. Amendola comes out, and Brinkley will go in now. I'm still waiting for that rocket to go shooting across the sky again, Pat.
We'll have to wait and read about it in the paper tomorrow to see exactly what it was.
Well, it's possible that Oil City heard us talking on the radio, some of the fans last week about the parachutists. Maybe they tried to top it with a skyrocket tonight. Oil City on offense. Takes a snap. Will fake to the fullback, and on the option, Hanlon elects to keep. No gain on the play. Fake to the fullback and kept it on the option, but pretty much ducked it in right behind him. No gain on the carry, bringing up 3rd and 2 or 3 now for the Oil City Oilers. Amendola gets the play from Dan Brown going into the ball game. 3:30 on the running clock here in the second quarter. Titusville leads 6-0 with Oilers football on 96 KQW FM. Oilers break the huddle, looking at the Titusville 4-4 defense. Hanlon takes his time calling signals. Hands off to Stevens, but into the backfield very quickly was Ryan Wolfkeel, and he shut that play down even before it got started, Pat. He was in the backfield before Stevens got the handoff even.
It brings up the 4th down, but even with Wolfkeel there, Scott, looks like they credit Mike Stevens with a yard. It'll be 4th and 1.
So credit Mike Stevens with a yard, but 4th and 1, 4-down territory. The Oilers will certainly go for it here. Brinkley bringing the play in from Dan Brown. You've got to give it to Stevens here with 4th and 1, Pat.
Ball on the 26-yard line of Titusville.
Wishbone backfield for the Oil City Oilers once again. Hanlon takes the snap from center. No, hands off to the fullback right up the middle, and it's going to be close. See where they spot this one. It's going to be really close. They needed to get to about the 25-yard line, and it looks like from here he got there, but they do it. They indicated first down. First down, Oil City. And they will pick it up 1st and 10 from the Titusville 25-yard line.
And a real crucial first down there for Oil City, Scott.
They needed that one, Pat, that's for sure. 2:21. They need to get some yardage here, though, and not let this clock expire. That timeout, who was that credited to, that earlier one? No, okay, so Oil City may have 3 timeouts here. 1st and 10 for the Oilers. And he calls the signal. Pitches back to Stevens, running right, looking to go outside. And once again, Titusville strings him out. And he may get to about back to the line of scrimmage, and not much more than that. They'll give him about a yard. 2nd and 9. So all the daylight that Stevens had and enjoyed running through last week has closed up. There's not much there at all.
But we've seen a couple of other bright spots in the Oiler offense so far with the passing game and the running by Chad Brinkley. So maybe if they're going to key in on Stevens, it's time to give the ball to somebody else.
We've noticed tonight they've been splitting out Sean Benson a little bit more out at flanker rather than tight end. Hanlon will drop back to pass, looking to go downfield. Has a man open. Out about the 15-yard line. That's T.J. Carbaugh. He pulls it in. Goes all the way down to, I think, the 5-yard line before they bring him down, Pat. Stopped out there by number 35, Mark Kirkwood, coming up to make the stop for the Rockets. 1st and 10, Oil City. Nice pass out there by T.J., and I'm not sure, Pat, but I think that might be his first catch of the year. We haven't seen T.J. catch very many.
I believe it might be, Scott, and as we mentioned, we do have a Titusville player down. Could be a leg cramp, so they have, looks like timeout in the field there, Scott.
And with that timeout, we'll take one, too. We'll be back with more Oiler football on 96 KQW FM.
For outstanding sports vision.
Oil City with a timeout there. We just mentioned moments ago that they've been splitting Sean Benson out at wide receiver or flanker, and they've been setting him in motion and moving T.J. Carbaugh out at flanker or split end at different times, something you don't see a whole lot, and I don't even know if we've seen it yet this year. A new wrinkle for the Oiler offense, and it comes to pay off right there as T.J. catches his, I think, his first pass of the season, Pat.
Scott, we want to back up there. Ryan Wolfkill was the player down for Titusville, but he got up and left the field under his own power. First and goal now for the Oil City on the Titusville 5-yard line.
And Oil City comes out in the I backfield. Hanlon looking at the goal line. We'll take the snap, pitch back to Stevens, has a little bit of running room, but met out there hard by a couple of Titusville Rockets. Hit out there by Kirkwood and a couple of other of those white shirts. They get him about 3 to 4 yards on to carry. Timeout, Oil City. We'll take a timeout, and once again, we'll come back with more Oiler football on 96 KQW FM.
Brad Arnick on the tackle on that last play for the Rockets.
Well, headed Oil City with that timeout there as they are knocking on the door, Pat. Checking in about 1 or 2.
That was pure Stevens power taking that ball down to the 2-yard line. So second and goal on the 2 for Oil City here in the first half of play. 6-0 Titusville leads, but Oil City ready to score.
Well, Dan Brown has said it before, when you're inside that 5, you've got to smell that goal line. Stevens was sniffing it right there, got real close, but no touchdown yet. Oil City coming out on offense, looking to score right here. Second in about 1 or 2 for the touchdown, and they'll hand off to the fullback. And Chad Blakely, number 25, scores from about the 1 for the Oil City Oilers. They go on the board, all tied up, 6-all. And, well, Pat, what are they going to do? Dan Brown has mixed it up this year. He doesn't show any tendencies one way or the other as far as kicking or going for 2, but you've got to believe they want to go for the sure thing here and will go for the kick, and that's what they're doing. Hanlon is the kicker. Snap is good. Gets the boot, but it's blocked. And is number 54, and that is Jason Roberts, who busted in from the middle, gets a hand on it and blocks the kick. So Oil City will come up the field. It is tied, 6-6. We're back with more Oiler football on 96 KQW FM after this. Pat, you've got to believe next time Oil City scores, hoping they do, they're going to go for 2 next time.
We hope so. That touchdown drive took 14 plays and covered 68 yards before Brinkley took it over for the Oiler touchdown. The score tied here with 56 seconds to go in the first half.
Damian Barr will tee it up and get off the kick. It bounces out around the 35-yard line, pulled in there, by number 27 for Titusville, and that is Charles Vanderhoff, who pulls it in and runs back to about the 39-yard line, where Titusville will now take over. We are inside a minute here in the first half.
We have Mike Stevens credited with about 38 yards so far in the ball game, Scott.
And coming up at halftime, Pat, I guess you've got a guest lined up for us this evening.
Yeah, we're going to be talking with Dr. Phil Laverty, president of the Blue and White Booster Club, a very active organization within the school system.
Broken bone backfield for the Titusville Rockets. They'll take the snap inside a minute, looking to go downfield, have some time, but no, it's the draw. Or excuse me, not the draw, but the screen pass, and they pass off to number 38, Matt McIntosh. Pass the running room, down and out of the 25-yard line before he's finally tackled out about the 18. A screen pass executed perfectly by the Titusville Rockets. Gets the ball from where, Pat? About the 35, all the way down to about the 18, where they will say he is tackled in his knee touch. And with 25 seconds left to go, I think Titusville is taking a timeout. I'm not sure on that. I thought I saw the official indicate it. They moved the sticks up 1st and 10 for the Rockets. Perfectly executed screen pass that time. You saw all those blue shirts from the Oilers rushing in. It looked like they were going to sack the quarterback, but he lobbed it right over their heads. McIntosh pulled it in. Great running out there. Had a lot of green in front of them, and they get all the way down to the 18-yard line. And they do take a timeout to stop that clock. We will, too. We'll be back with more Oiler football on 96 KQW FM after this. Seconds left to go here in the first half of the ball game. It's all tied up at 6-6, but Titusville on a picture-perfect textbook screen pass that time, executed by the quarterback Maya Morrison to Nate McIntosh, who rambled all the way down to the 18-yard line where the Rockets have got 1st and 10 and threatening once again. They have a field goal kicker, I wonder, Pat.
I don't think we've seen one yet so far this season. First down, I guess the ball's going to be on the 19-yard line. That's a little helpful for Oil City.
Twins out to the left side. Meyer rolls out left looking to pass. Has a man open inside the goal line, and he will catch it and pull it in. That is number 80, Greg Paluski for the Rockets. Their split end, the 6', 162-pound senior, all alone in the end zone. Actually, he had 2 people he could have picked that time, Pat. Totally fooled the Oilers as they got beat in the secondary. And a nice score from the 18 for the Titusville Rockets. Maya Morrison out to Greg Paluski. And that's got to be a heartbreaker for the Oil City Oilers. That's one of those things that, you know, you get that score, you have your confidence back, and boom, 2 plays, they're in the end zone.
So they're talking it over, ready to attempt that point after. And it looks like this time they may be going for 2, Scott.
They're going to try to make up that one they muffed last time. 12-6, Titusville on top. 19 seconds left to go. Morrison rolls out once again, looking to pass. Has a man in the end zone, but I guess he was inside. I thought he may have gone out of bounds. And I think that was number 80 once again, Greg Paluski. So whoever's covering Paluski's left him in the dirt. And they go on the board there.
And Titusville comes up the field right before halftime, leading 14-6.
We'll keep it right here. 19 seconds left to go in this first half. But Pat, that has got to be such a morale killer to come down the field in a nice drive by Oil City, drive the ball down the field, get on the board, get the score, and then in just 2 plays, very quickly, they score just like that. Screen pass and a pass to Greg Paluski from the 18. Titusville will tee it up for the kickoff. Dan Brown's going to have to get these people to get their heads up and get right back in this ball game. Homecoming for Oil City. They're certainly not out of it, only down by a touchdown. They can get right back here in the second half. They are going to have to beef up that passing game, though. Rockets kick it off. They keep it on the ground. They don't want to return. Fielded by one of the up men for the Oil City Oilers. I'm not sure who that was. I think that might have been the Oiler of the week last week, Mark Lukasiak, who pulled that one in. And although Luke would love to say he'd like to be a running back, I just don't think he's cut out for it, Pat. That was Mark Lukasiak.
Oil City will have the ball on their own 45-yard line. Maybe time for 1, maybe 2, if they're going to put it in the air.
That's about all they're going to have time for. I don't even know if they're going to get the playoff, Pat. I don't think they're even going to try. No, they do call a timeout, Oil City, and this time we will go away. We'll pay a few bills. We'll come back with more Oiler football on 96 KQW FM after this.
Carriage City.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a blue Ford Ranger blocking the main gate. The ambulance needs to get out. A blue Ford Ranger is blocking the main gate, and we need to get the ambulance out.
Oilers trying to maybe get one quick pass play off here, looking to go in the end zone. Maybe now's that curl and pitch time we were talking about.
It could work out, you know, on that Titusville touchdown, Scott, that covered 2 plays and 69 yards. So Oil City only has, 54 yards to go, and we have 10 seconds to do it.
Well, they will come out, broke it and bone backfield, showing the eye there, flankers out to the left side. Titusville's got some people deep. They know Oil City's going to have to get quite a bit. They go to the halfback pass, and they muff it. Jeremy Amendola, the backup quarterback, they went to him on the halfback pass, and he didn't get a good fit. Lost his handle on the ball, dropped the football, and I think Titusville fell on it. In any case, they did fall on it, and they stopped the clock with 4.1 seconds to go. Pat, this is going to be the longest inside a minute I've ever seen in a high school game.
And we're experiencing it, and Titusville's leading 14-6 here in the first half of play, and it looks like they may have another timeout in the field called there.
They do. Titusville fell on the ball on the fumble by Amendola, and they called a timeout. I think we've had 3 timeouts since it's been inside a minute here, and both teams have had the ball. Titusville, their second possession right here. And, you know, with the success they had on those 2 pass plays, Pat, you've got to believe they're going to put it up and look for Paluski right here. 14-6 is the score with 4.1 seconds left to go here in the first half. And right about here, Pat, I think you put about 5 guys on Paluski.
I was going to say, we're just going to have to really be careful, as we saw the explosive possibilities that offense has for the Rockets, and, you know, scoring so quickly as they did the last time they had the ball. But again, this time with only 4 seconds remaining, hopefully we can stop them.
Well, it's funny, you know, they came to this ball game, you know, an option team, wishbone team. They weren't known for passing the ball, haven't rolled up a whole lot of yardage in any of the games, but they have just been moving the football here. Morrison does draw back the pass, looking for not Paluski that time, but number 88, Sean List, and it's knocked down by a couple of Oil City Oilers, and that will be the end of the first half as the Oilers come up the field. They are losing here in this ball game, 14-6. We'll be back with a halftime show after this on 96 KQW FM.
Of the homecoming court, Titusville High School is proud to present the Titusville High School Marching Band. The band is under the direction of Mr. Lane Courtney, assisted by Miss Kathy Perkins and Mrs. Terry Wiggs. Leading the band onto the field are drum majors Redley Polk and Tiffany Taylor, Rockette captain Melissa Griffin, assisted by Julie Carlson and Rebecca Armstrong. In keeping with homecoming, the Titusville program will include tradition, Sabbath prayer, and the bottle dance from the exciting Fiddler on the Roof.
Support in this fashion, and we encourage every parent.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 1992 Oil City Homecoming Halftime Festivities. The Oiler Band and Dantron open their portion of tonight's show with the Butler Fanfare, an opening drill to the Guns N' Roses hit, You Could Be Mine. At this time, we would like to reintroduce to you this year's homecoming chorus. They are Kathy Bennett, escorted by Joelle Dallas. Sandy Downey, escorted by John Warner. Leslie Harry, escorted by Kirk Master. Jennifer Hutchison, escorted by Joe McFadden. Amy Russler, escorted by George Ensel. And Stephanie Strickland, escorted by Charlie Harbaugh. Let's give all these lovely ladies and their escorts one more round of applause. Tonight's queen will be crowned by the Secretary of the Senior Class, Kelly Kukla, and Treasurers Heather and Aaron Cruz. Last year's homecoming queen, Stacey German, unfortunately could not be with us here today. And at this time, the 1992-93 homecoming queen is Stephanie Strickland. To close, please join the order band in saluting Phil Rexo, former composer, music educator, and performer at Oil City High School, as they perform a medley of Oil City and Allegheny.
Up on the 5. They're going to mark it now on the 14-yard line. First and 10 for the Rockets on their own 14.
Well, throwing a baseball term, he definitely line drive that one at a rifle shot down there right through the Rockets' hands. Good kick out there by Damian Barr. We'll take that one rather than the high long one. Oil City covered it well. And Titusville will come out on offense. Maya Morrison, the quarterback. Mark Cookwood, the flanker. Nate McIntosh and Brad Arnick are in the backfield. They send Twins out to the right side. And they will take the snap, hand off that time to number 32, and that is Zimprich, who will go up the middle and gain about a half a yard and not much more, bringing up second and 9.5 for the Titusville Rockets. So they showed pass, Twins out to the right side, but they elect to throw that, or elect to run that time, Pat.
This is really about the deepest that in their own territory that Titusville started out. They had better field position on some of their previous starts.
Oil City's got to be leaning back in the secondary after getting burned twice late in the first half. Twins out to the right side again. And this time they'll run the option pitch out there to Zimprich. Zimprich cutting in off his right side and picks up several yards out to the 20-yard line. So call it now third and about 5, or 4 now where they spot the ball for the Titusville Rockets. Just underway here in the second half. In case you just joined us, Titusville on top with a quick score late in the first half. They lead 14-6. Oil City on defense this evening. Running down the players there at the nose guard will be John Williams. Your tackles are Damian Barr and Jeremy Heath. Titusville on offense right now. They take a snap and they hand off to the first man through, and I think that was McIntosh who carried the ball that time. As I said on tackles, defensive tackle for the Oilers, Damian Barr and either Jeremy Heath or Matt Keebler, we could see them both there this evening. Mark Lukasiak and Sean Benson are the ends. Lukasiak getting his first start at defensive end. Your linebackers are Dave Kraft, the junior, and Chad Brinkley. And in the secondary, Eckert and Baker are the corners. Amendola and Carbaugh are the safeties. 4th and 2, or 4th and 1. Titusville not electing to go for it. They'll kick here. The punter is Brian Baldwin. He'll get the snap. It's a good one. Nice high kick. Long one falling down around the 45-yard line. Pulled in there by Mike Stevens, and he calls for the fair catch. Downs it at about the Oil City 41-42-yard line, where the Oilers will take over their first possession here in the second half of the ball game. 9:44 on the stop clock here in the third quarter.
And the Rockets leading 14-6. Oil City now with the football 1st and 10 on their own 43-yard line. Homecoming at Oil City High School here in the third quarter. The Rockets up by 8.
Well, they tried to stick with that running game in the first half with Mike Stevens getting the ball in a lot of different ways. Not too successful for Oil City. They went to the air, and as Pat told you, the halftime stats very successful. Let's see what they do here. They'll come out and put a hard slide on the right side. Eye backfield. Stevens dots the eye. Hanlon calls the signal. Takes the snap. Hands off to Stevens. Caught in the backfield by number 25 for the Titusville Rockets. And that is not on my defensive starters, but it's Brad Arnick. And yes, he is. He's inside linebacker. Maybe a blitz that time, Pat. Busted in. Got into the Oiler backfield right after Stevens got the ball, and they'll nail him for, what, about a 3 or 4 yard loss that time.
Looks like a loss of 4, second down, and a 14 for Oil City.
You know, if Stevens gets some daylight, he can run the ball, but he's not even really having a chance to get the handoff before they're in the backfield. Oil City comes out on offense once again. Stevens dots the eye. This time, no, they keep it on the option. This time it's Hanlon rolling out left. And tackled out there that time by number 66, Ryan Wolfkill, in on the stop with along of other Titusville Rockets. Oil City moving right to left on your radio dial, wearing all blue uniforms this evening. Titusville with the gold pants and white jerseys. Third now, and about 7 or 8. 8:22 left to go here in the third quarter.
7-yard pickup for Hanlon on the carry, Scott. Third down.
So the option a little bit profitable that time for the Oil City Oilers. They come out on offense once again. Brinkley's the fullback. Stevens dots the eye, and they've got a flanker split out to the right. Snap from center. Fake to Stevens going downfield to have a man, but falls short. Intended out there for Sean Benson, but a flag out there by him, Pat. Maybe, possibly, hopefully, pass interference out there by the Titusville Rockets down around the general area.
As we await the call, we have 7:57 here to go. And it is penalty against.
It's going to go against the Rockets. I think that was pass interference. Possibly they grabbed the shirt of Benson, who was out in their air, and they will step that off. A nice gain. Big gain for Oil City, and that will take the ball all the way down to the Rockets' 40-yard line. First and 10 for Oil City. Amendola comes into the ball game at fullback, and T.J. Carbaugh goes out. That usually means that Brinkley will stay at fullback, and Amendola will go to the flanker.
Ball down on the 40-yard line of the Rockets.
First and 10, 7:57 left to go here in the third quarter. Oil City down 14-6. Titusville on top this evening. Oilers with the football. Hanlon calling signals. Hands off to Stevens, going up the middle. Stevens breaks the tackle, and finally shoestring tackle out there by number 66, Ryan Wolfkill for the Rockets. Trips Stevens up, but not before he gains about 6 yards. Call it 2nd and 4 now for the Oil City Oilers. And we've got 7:39 here on a running clock. Oil City moving the football here as we're just underway here in the second half. First possession for the Oilers in the second half of the ball game, moving the ball rather successfully. T.J. Carbaugh split out wide on the right side. Stevens dots the eye. They hand off to the fullback going up the middle, and that is Brinkley. Brinkley out close to the first down, but just a little bit short, I believe. They'll give him a couple of yards on the carry. Bring up third and about 1 now for the Oil City Oilers. In Titusville territory at the Titusville 32.
Jason Roberts on the tackle for the Rockets.
Waiting for the play off the bench. Dan Brown sends Jeremy Amendola in with the play. Brinkley comes off the field now.
3rd and 2 for the Oilers.
And the Oilers break the huddle. They'll bring it out. TJ will go in the slot on the right side. They'll split Benson out. Stevens dots the I. Oilers calling the signals, looking at the 4-4 defense. They hand off to Stevens up the middle, and he is across that 30-yard line. Should be a first down for the Oil City Oilers.
It should be, and I'll tell you, it is a first down on the hard drive for those couple of yards by Mike Stevens.
So Dan Brown mixing up the plays on offense, moving the football for Oil City, just slowly grinding it out here. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line of Titusville Rockets. Oil City moving the football. Pat Folwell and Scott Roberts this evening, bringing you Oiler football on 96 KQW FM. On offense, the Oilers have, once again, Carbaugh split out wide on the right side. Hanlon takes a snap, drops back, looks to pass, has a man open, and that's Eckert, and bounces off the ground. He would like to have caught that one, but Brown caught it first, Pat. A little bit short. Hanlon underthrows his receiver that time. Was, for the most part, open. Had a little bit of green in front of him, but Hanlon just a little bit short. I think that's the first time he's missed.
That's the first he's missed so far this evening. He's about 5 for 6 now.
I was going to say 5. He was 5 for 5 in the first half. That's the first pass of the second. So Hanlon enjoyed a good evening, but not a completion that time. 2nd and 10 for Oil City. 6:17 left to go here in the third quarter. With the Rockets on defense in their 4-4 defense, Hanlon will take the snap and hand off to the first man through, and he's hit hard at the line of scrimmage out there by Ryan Wolfkill, stepping up from his linebacker position, inside linebacker. And in fact, they'll knock him back a couple of yards, bringing up 3rd and 11 now for Oil City. Pat, I think confidence-wise, with that late score in the first half, the Oilers need to score here to get their confidence back and tie this ball game up. That'll help them a lot. So Oil City comes out on offense. Eckert will split out wide on the left side. Hanlon calls the signals, takes a snap, fumbles the snap, falls right back on it. And tackled out there by number 55 for Titusville. That's Joe Nichols coming in from the nose guard. Falls on top of Hanlon. Just a miscue at center between the snap between Kraft and Hanlon that time. It happens, I guess. Nothing really much you can do about it.
Loss of about a yard on the fumble brings up the 4th down. The ball back on the 32-yard line of the Rockets.
So we've got to get about 12 or 13 here to get a first down. And Oil City certainly will go for it. And they come out in the full wishbone backfield. Hanlon looking over that 4-4 Penn State defense. Take the snap from center. Pitches back to Stevens on the halfback pass. Looking to throw, but not enough time. Under pressure from several Rockets. He's backed up all the way to the 50-yard line. Now behind the 50. Throws the football out to the quarterback, Steve Hanlon, who does pull it in and make the catch, but pulls it in only around the Titusville 35-yard line. So Pat way short of the first down. And Oil City will turn the ball on downs, but a little bit of a surprise there. They have tried to run the halfback pass in the first half of the ball game with Amendola, and that did not work. This time they tried to run the halfback pass, or at least make it look like that, with Mike Stevens, but just too much pressure from Titusville. Never had a chance to set up and throw, and finally does throw, but not much of a gainer for the Oil City Oilers that time. 1st and 10, Titusville back on offense. They get the ball back on downs. They're at the 33. And Maya Morrison will take the snap handoff to number 38 for the Rockets. And that is McIntosh, who rambles out to about the 49, 48-yard line, very close to the first down, or excuse me, 44-yard line, very close to the first down, and they will give it to him. So on McIntosh's carry that time, a 10-yard gain brings up 1st and 10 for Titusville at about the 44. 4:19 left to go here in the third quarter. 14-6, the Rockets on top. The Rockets coming into the ball game with a 1-4 record, but as Dan Brown mentioned on Coach's Corner, they have played some tough teams this season. First and 10, Rockets with the football. Morrison pitches back to number 32, and that is Zimprich, and he'll scramble off the right side. Picks up several yards right there. They'll give him about 3, I guess.
Stopped by Jeremy Amendola.
2nd and 7 now for the Titusville Rockets. Oiler football on a Friday evening. Great night for it. So far, we haven't seen any more of those Rockets that we saw in the first half, though. They've got a flanker on the right side, hands off to the first man through. And that is Zimprich, who gets out close to the first down. They bring him down around the 47-yard line, so he should be just for it. just short. Should bring up third and about 1 now for the Titusville Rockets. So the first possession of the second half, Oil City pretty much shut them down, but their second possession here, they're moving the football rather easily, Pat.
Rockets moving well now down in Oil City 46-yard line.
Into Oil City territory, knocking on the door just a little bit. Oil City in the 5-2 defense will run down some of those starters here in just a little bit. Right now they've got a slot on the right side. Flankers hands off to the fullback coming across the middle, and he should pick up the first down. And I think that was number 32. No, check that. Number 38, Nate McIntosh, who carries for the first down. And Titusville continues to move the football, getting to first down now at the Oil City 43-yard line on a running clock here in the third quarter. 2:44 left to go here in this third quarter of play. You're listening to Oiler football on 96 WKQW FM, Oil City. Rockets hand off to the deep man in the full house backfield, and he'll pick up about 3 yards on the carry. And that was McIntosh, I believe. Gains about 5 on that pass. So whatever Oil City did in that first series on defense, they just haven't been able to do it again this series.
Or Titusville may have noticed something too and readjusted their offense just a hair.
Oil City in the 5-2 defense this evening. Wishbone backfield, and they hand off to number 40 that time for Titusville. And Pat, I do not have him on my roster at all. A fresh shirt in there for the Rockets. I do not have him on my roster anywhere. Gains a couple of yards. 3rd and 3 now for the Titusville Rockets. Inside a minute 40 here in the third quarter. On defense for the Oilers in the secondary, Jeremy Amendola is the strong safety, T.J. Carba the free safety. Chad Baker and Mike Eckert are your cornerbacks, Dave Kraft, Chad Brinkley, the linebackers this evening. Titusville now on offense once again. They take the snap from center and hands off to the first man through the hole. Hit hard out there by John Williams of the Oil City Oilers. And that is 38 McIntosh who carried the ball. Not enough for the first down, though. 4th and 1, but definitely in 4-down territory. They'll probably go for it here. On the line for the Oil City Oilers on defense, John Williams, who's the nose guard, the 6-foot, 205-pound senior who was in on the stop that time. Damian Barr, the tackle. On defensive tackle on the other side, Jeremy Heath and Matt Keebler rotating in and out. Sean Benson and Mark Lukasiak are your defensive ends this evening for the Oilers. And they pitch back to number 40 that time, hand off to number 40. And as I said, we are not sure who that is for the Titusville Rockets. We don't have him on our roster.
I think it's C.J. Curvin. He was number 22 on our roster. C.J. Curvin.
C.J. Curvin, okay. We will make a note of that. We're inside a minute now again. And we'll write that one down on our roster. 1st and 10, Titusville. Excuse me, 1st and 10 Oil City as they stop them on downs. And the Oilers now come out on offense. Shut down the Titusville Rockets. They were moving the ball rather successfully. Wishbone backfield for the Oil City Oilers. And movement out there, flags flying. I got to believe that was Titusville that time, Pat, although Titusville's flapping. Didn't see a blue shirt move that time, though.
Yeah, well, now they're marking it off against the Oil City.
So they take him back 5. Costly mistakes that like that. They can cost the team a football game. And the Oilers down here, 14-6 in the third quarter, don't need it. Inside a minute left to go here in the third quarter. 1st and 15 now for the Oil City Oilers. Some of the balloons flying up from the stands in front of us.
Oil City with the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 31-yard line. 10 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Rockets lead 14-6.
And I don't know if they'll get this play off. They're counting him down. And they do get it off. Hands off to the first man through and hit hard at the line of scrimmage by a whole bunch of Titusville Rockets. And they won't give him anything on that carry. That is the end of the third quarter. Where we've got the score, Titusville 14, Oil City 6. Back with more Oiler football on 96 KQW FM after these.
The leaves are turning. office at 8 State Street or call 677.
Had a net yardage of about 15 yards, and the Rockets in with 39. Fourth quarter now, and Oil City with the football.
Fourth quarter just getting underway. 14-6. The Oilers down here starting the fourth quarter. Handling the quarterback, calls signal, second and about 15 for Oil City. Looking to pass, has several men open, hits Jeremy on goal, coming across the middle, pulls it in out about the 45 and rumbles to the 50, crosses midfield before he is tackled, and picks up the first down for the Oil City Oilers. They'll mark the ball at the Titusville 48-yard line. Nice pass out there. Amendola cutting across the middle all alone. Snuck out of the backfield. Titusville never picked him up. Nice pass out there from Hanlon to Amendola. And he's, 6 for 7 this evening, I think.
6 for 7. The Rockets doing a decent job of stopping Mike Stevens. That's probably the time to open up the air game.
Well, Hanlon, I had him as a quarterback back in youth football league days with the Golden Eagles, and he had an arm back then. As he's certainly bulked up since then. Hands off to the fullback that time, and that is, I believe, Brinkley going up the middle. Nice gain out there by Chad. Gains about 7 or 8 yards. Let's see where they spot the football. As I said, Steve Hanlon has been a quarterback since his youth football league days, coming up in the ranks. He was the JV quarterback last year, moves up to the varsity ranks this year, the senior. A big senior, too. 6 foot 180, a wrestler. During wrestling season, and a pretty good one, if I remember right. Second and 3 or 4 now for the Oil City Oilers on offense. Hanlon is the quarterback. Calling the signals. Takes the snap, miscue out there. They went to hand off to Amendola, and really probably shouldn't have handed off that time, Pat. As he was handing the ball off, there was a Titusville Rocket right in his face, and that was Brad Arnick. So I think maybe what Titusville is doing, maybe you can pick this up. I think they're blitzing one of the 2 linebackers, or one of their 4 linebackers, one of the inside men, and cheating in on the center. But it seems like almost every time Oil City tries to go inside, they've got a linebacker staring in their face as soon as they try to make the handoff.
A loss of 3 on that play, Scott. Third down.
They come out twins on the right side. Oil City Stevens dots the I. They take the snap from center. Take the handoff to Stevens, looking to go downfield once again. Has Tom Benson across the middle. Pulls it in. And about the 24-yard line before he is tackled out there by Nate McIntosh, the safety coming up to make the stop. First down, Oil City. 10-17 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Oil City moving the football. The Oilers down 14-6, but a nice pass out there. The quarterback, Steve Hanlon, having a whale of an evening in the air. Started out the season when he was passing a little bit erratic, but he has certainly found his mark tonight, spreading out the wealth among his receivers. He's the quarterback right now, calling signals, takes the snap from center, goes up the middle that time, and they will pick up about 5 yards on that carry, maybe a little bit more than that. They'll give him 6. Second now and about 4 for the Oil City Oilers. Amendola comes off. Brinkley brings the play in at the fullback spot. Dan Brown trying to work this ball into the end zone. Oil City looking to score here in the fourth quarter and tie this football game up. Oilers come out full-bone backfield. Hanlon's taking time at center. Fakes to the first man through. Hands off to Charlie Carbaugh, who hasn't touched the ball a whole lot here in the ball game. And they'll give him about a yard and not much more than that, Pat.
Brings up the third down. As you mentioned, Carbaugh, we saw in previous games, Scott, carrying the ball a little more, but now this game, we see mainly Stevens and Brinkley in there. A couple carries by Amendola. That's about the third carry that Carbaugh's had in the game.
Yeah, Carbaugh came into the ball game with 230 yards on 51 carries for a very respectable 4.5 average, but hasn't got the ball a whole lot this evening. Oil City on offense. This time they hand it to Stevens. He's wrecked at the line of scrimmage. Met out there by number 57, Jeff Vanderhoff, the 5'11", 260-pound senior. He had 190 beating 260. Most of the time, 260 is going to win, Pat.
Looks about as he did that time, Scott, as he lost 2 yards on the carry. Brings up a fourth down. The ball's down around the, 16, 17-yard line of the Rockets. Fourth down, however.
8:15, clock running down here in the fourth quarter. Vanderhoff just wrapped his arms around Stevens, brought him back down. Twins out to the right side for the Oilers. Hanlon rolls out left on the bootleg, looking to pass, and pumps once, has a man open, but and it is almost picked off out there by number 38, Nate McIntosh, who was all alone, had his hands on it, knocked the ball down, and then was turned around and hit hard by one of the Oilers who that pass was intended to. No flag. I thought they might even throw a flag that time. Almost picked off out there by Nate McIntosh for the Rockets.
So the Titusville Rockets hold the Oilers. They're leading by a score of 14-6 here with 7:59 remaining in the ball game, and Titusville getting the football back on their own 16-yard line.
I tell you, McIntosh had to really go up in the air to knock that ball down or try to pick it off. Almost a touchdown for the Oil City Oilers, but close but no cigar. 14-6, the Oilers are down. Titusville takes over, and they pitch back this time to the deep man, and that is number 38. I think that was McIntosh again. Zimprich, excuse me, number 32 carrying the ball. They'll give him about half a yard, maybe not even that. Call it 2nd and 10 now. I take that back. There must have been a flag or something on the play, Pat. They haven't. Oh, well, no, they're bringing the sticks out. Okay. They moved the sticks back and then called it 1st and 10 again. Because he had about a 10-yard gain on that play. And they will measure that one. Looks like he's going to be about, I was going to say about 6 inches short, and that's what the official says. 7:46 left to go here in the 4th quarter. Oilers going to have to shut him down here, Pat. Hope for a bad punt. And Titusville has been rather successful on punt. They've got off some nice punts this evening. If they can shut him down here, make him punt from around that 15 or 20-yard line, maybe get the ball back in good field position, mount a drive, eat up the clock, and get the score, and at least tie this ball game up.
But the key now, let's stop Zimprich, let's stop McIntosh.
Well, they've got the advantage right here, 2nd and inches for the Titusville Rockets. Maya Morrison will keep it on the option, rolling out left, and he will run for the first down very easily out to about the 33-yard line, I think, where they will mark it. Right now in the Pirate ball game, Pirates taking on the Atlanta Braves in Pittsburgh. First game of the National League Championship Series in Pittsburgh. The Braves leading 2-0. There is no score in the 2nd inning. And we'll try to update you as much as we can on that this evening.
It's going to be a personal foul marked off against Oil City, 15 yards. That's going to bring the football out to the, well, the referee stops walking right about the 48-yard line of the Oilers. So a very costly penalty for Oil City as the quarterback had picked up the first down, but we had a personal foul called as he was driven out of bounds.
So add that on to that Rocket run. 7:22 running clock here in the 4th quarter. The Rockets lead 14-6. Oil City needs to shut them down right here. And they try to do that that time, and fullback carries the ball. McIntosh, give him 2 yards on the carry. Shut down by the inside line of the Oil City Oilers. Number 43, Sean Benson, one of the linebackers coming up to help make on the stop. Or excuse me, the defensive end shuffling over.
We have 7 minutes remaining in the ball game, and the Rockets up by a score of 14-6. Homecoming at Oil City.
The Rockets will send out Twins on the right side, I backfield. Pitches band to the deep man in the eye, and that is Zimprich, who rolls off a couple of Oil City tacklers, rolls off Sean Benson's tackle, and gets out to about the 45-yard line of Oil City for about a 3-yard gain, bringing up 3rd and 5 now for the Titusville Rockets. 14-6 is the score. The Rockets on top. Glad to have you along this evening, bringing you Oiler football action all season long. Next week, we're on the road at Meadville as the Oilers take on the Bulldogs. Titusville with the ball on the option. Morrison pitches back to Zimprich. Zimprich breaks a couple of tackles, rolls off Carbaugh, and maybe enough for the first down as he gains about 5 yards on the carry. And it looks like they will get another first down for the Titusville Rockets, Pat.
Their 3rd first down here of the 4th quarter, and the ball swatted down right on the 40-yard line of Oil City.
So it's not so importantly whether Titusville scores or not. They're keeping the ball on the ground and just eating up clock, and Oil City needs to stop them, get the ball back, and then they've got to move the football down the field themselves. 1st and 10, Titusville at the Oilers 40. They'll put a slot out on the left side, split in way out. And McIntosh will go up the middle once again. They're just trying to keep it on the ground and eat up the clock. Give them about 4 or 3 yards on the carry. Second and about 6 now. 5:38 counting down here in the fourth quarter.
The Oilers not doing as good a job of shutting down McIntosh and Zimprooch as the Rockets are shutting down Mike Stevens.
Titusville breaks the huddle. Moving right to left on your radio dial. 2nd and 6. And they will pitch back this time to Zimprich. Zimprich going up the middle. Passes by a couple of Oilers before he's brought down about the 25-yard line. And that should bring up another Titusville first down, and it does. They'll move the stick and stop the clock only long enough to do just that before the official will signal it to start again. 5:11, and we are counting down here in the fourth quarter. Homecoming for the Oil City Oilers, where they crowned Stephanie Strickland the homecoming queen this evening. 1st and 10, Titusville. Oilers going to have to close the door right here on the Rocket. Inside 5 minutes now. And quarterback will hand off to the first man through. The fullback gains a couple. Met out hard there by several Oil City Oilers, including number 56 for the Oil City Oilers, and that, of course, is the linebacker Dave Kraft.
That's probably one of the smaller gains of the evening. Shot, 2-yard pickup, 2nd down and 8. Ball down on the 24-yard line of Oil City.
Coming into the ball game, Brian Card for the Oil City Oilers. And Titusville on the quarterback keeper just moves the ball and powers it up the middle. And even on the quarterback sneak pass, they're getting big yardage. They'll give them about 3 on that one. 2 or 3 anyway. 3rd and 5 now for Titusville, but again, more importantly, they're just eating up the clock. And even if Oil City does stop them, they're going to have a lot of yards to tie this ball game up.
But the key with the ball on the Oil City 20 and 3rd down and 5 is to stop that Rocket drive so that we can get that ball back.
3rd and 5, Titusville on offense. We'll hand the ball off to Zimprich, who runs off his left side. Stopped out there down around the 15-yard line. Close to a first down, but not. About a yard, maybe about a half a yard short, Pat.
I think Zimprooch must have had ate a lot of go-pills tonight, Scott, because I'll tell you, he's turning in a whale of a ball game here in the second half.
How's that saying go? He ate his Wheaties. 4th and short now for the Titusville Rockets. And they'll hand off to Zimprich once again. Hit hard at the line of scrimmage. Bounces off one tackle. Tries to go outside, but he is shot short. In fact, they lose a couple of yards. And the Oil City Oilers will take over as they stop the Titusville Rockets. The pass with 3:11 left to go. They've got, let me see here, they've got about 82, 83 yards to go before they can put another score on the board. That is a lot of yardage for Oil City to cover. And with 3:11 left to go, they're certainly going to have to put the ball up.
Put the ball up. Hamlin's been most successful with it all night, Scott. So, he's just about, what did he say, 6 for 8 or 6 for 9? I'll tell you, he had the only touchdown for the Oilers was on an 18. No, that's. He's quite successful in the air.
Well,
we had the passing touchdown.
We know he's going to throw. They know he's going to throw. Titusville probably knows he's going to throw too. They will pin their ears back and come running right here. Oilers on offense. Hanlon's the quarterback, calling signals. Possibly motion out there, and I guess not. Flags don't fly, but that's Amendola. And they'll credit him with, what, Pat, about a yard? Not even that. Actually,
well, maybe a loss of a yard, maybe 2 yards there, Scott.
I've seen where he fell forward, but Amendola with a 2-yard loss on the play. 2:32. They can't afford to run the ball right here. They've got to put it up. 14-6. I'm not sure how many timeouts Oil City has left, but they're going to have to use them sometime very, very soon. T.J. Carbach slips out to the right side as the split end. This going back to it. Hanlon throws out to the flat. A completion and a nice run out there. And then I think is Sean Benson And it was Benson who rambles for 10 yards, maybe 12 yards, and maybe good enough for the first down. And they do give him the first down. So a pass out there on the flats. They tried that earlier in the ball game, and it does work that time. 12-yard pickup for Sean Benson on a pass from the quarterback, Steve Hanlon.
That's what we need, the shot in the arm there. Got the ball on the 30-yard line now of Oil City.
6'1", 200-pound senior Benson is hard to bring down once he catches the ball in open field. And Benson is split out wide on the right side. Wishbone backfield. Hanlon's the quarterback. Takes the snap, kind of muffs in the center. And Titusville is blitzing on the play. They come running, and they sack him very quickly. He'll lose about 3 or 4 yards on that. Pat, I don't know what Oil City is doing on the line, but on these blitzes Titusville has been running. I don't think they stopped him yet this evening.
Loss of 4 on the play. Ball back now on the 26-yard line. Second down and 15 for the Oilers. 1:22 remaining in the ball game. We're down by 8.
Brinkley comes into the ball game. So does Mark Spence, bringing the plane off the bench to Dan Brown. We're coming close down to about a minute left here in this fourth quarter. Oil City facing the second and about 14. Hanlon drops back, looking to pass, under pressure. Throws the ball, pulled in out there at the 35-yard line. Incomplete.
Pass from Steve Hanlon is incomplete.
So Oil City now, that has stopped the clock at Pat. 57.4 seconds. We're inside a minute. Unless Oil City's got a pass that's going to gain them about 80 yards, they're going to be in trouble right here.
We need the Hail Mary and the Our Father pass right here, Scott. The ball back on the, what is that, about the 25-yard line. Third down and 13. 57 seconds remaining in the ball game.
But Oil City doesn't need that 15. They need about that 35 or more. They've got to throw the long ball here. Hanlon rolls out right, looking downfield. He has Amendola, but over his head, tipped away out time by Nate McIntosh, number 38 for the Rockets. So even if he would have had that ball just a little bit lower, McIntosh might have picked that off. Actually, Amendola had about 3 or 4 white jerseys around him that time.
So we're down to a fourth down, Scott, 53 seconds as the Oilers going to call timeout. Timeout called by Oil City.
And we will take a timeout and come back with more Oiler football on 96 KQW FM after this.
Home
Football 92. Oil City was probably about 1 shot left for this evening. Hanlon takes the snap from center. He's got a throw to Mike Stevens, and Stevens is knocked out of bounds. Pat, just a bad call that time. They throw to Stevens out about the 32-yard line. Stevens steps out of bounds, but maybe not realizing that he needed a first down that time. And he gets the ball out about the 35-yard line, but they needed 15 or more for a first down. So Oil City will turn the ball over on down with about 48 seconds left to go here in the ball game, and I would imagine Titusville will just take the snap and fall on it, Pat.
Well, with 47 seconds, you know, maybe they want to prove that they have an offense, and they were quite explosive towards the end of the first half, Scott, when they hurried and put a score on the board there right after the Oil City Oilers did right about the same time remaining on the clock.
That's the thing, you know.
For the Rockets.
You take that quick score away, and it's a tie ball game. And Titusville will keep it on the ground. Hands off that time to C.J. Curvin, who goes up the middle. And he will pick up several yards on the carry, about 5 yards. Bring up second and about 5, and the clock will continue to run, and Titusville may not even have to take another snap from center, Pat. No, they stopped the clock. Somebody did. Oil City does. They call a timeout, and we will take a timeout and come back with more Oiler football on 96 KQW FM. And 5, Titusville takes the snap, and that should probably be the last play of the ball game. Handed off up the middle, they'll gain a couple of yards, and I don't even. Now they stop the clock once again, maybe hoping to make Titusville try to get that first down before Oil City can get just one more shot at it. And on that carry, that will bring up third and about 4 now for Titusville. And I thought, yeah, they did. Oil City called a timeout. We will take another break and come right back on 96 KQW FM. Press box, 22.3 seconds. Got to get that .3 in there. That's important with that new scoreboard. Oil City took the timeout to make Titusville get the first down before maybe they can get one more shot at it right here. Of course, Oil City would have to shut them down right here and then lay up the Hail Mary Doug Flutie special. Oil City sends everybody. Titusville just falls on it. And I think Oil City is out of timeouts, Pat. I'm not sure.
As the clock runs out, the teams congratulate each other as the Rockets come out on top over the Oilers' homecoming festivities, and the Rockets win the ball game 14-6.
A well-played game by both teams, with the Rockets coming out on top with a score of 14-6.